Let's get your top story in double trouble when it comes to the Aam Aadmi Party.
That's right. Just hours after the Supreme Court refused to grant bail to former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, the Enforcement Directorate has summoned Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal for questioning in an excise policy-linked money laundering case for the 2nd of November.
That's right, Parmeshwar. The 2nd of November is when he's been summoned. Do remember that CBI had questioned Arvind Kejriwal back in April, though he was not named as an accused in the first information report of the FIR that was filed by the agency on the 17th of August last year. But this move is significant as the agencies have told court that they have established a money trail of 338 crore rupees. Let's just listen in to how the Aam Aadmi Party is reacting.
जैसा कि खबर आ रही है कि अब केंद्र सरकार की ईडी ने दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री श्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को समन भेजा है 2 तारीख का। इससे बात साफ हो जाती है कि केंद्र सरकार का एक ही मकसद है, किसी तरीके से आम आदमी पार्टी को खत्म कर देना, और इसके लिए वो कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ रहे। किसी तरीके से कैसे भी फर्जी केस बना के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को जेल में बंद किया जाए और आम आदमी पार्टी को खत्म किया जाए।
मनीष सिसोदिया की जमानत याचिका रद्द होने के झटके से आम आदमी पार्टी अभी उबरी भी नहीं थी कि एक और समस्या, और शायद सबसे बड़ी समस्या अब उसके सामने आकर खड़ी हो गई है। दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल को एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट प्रवर्तन निदेशालय यानी ईडी ने नोटिस भेज दिया है और पूछताछ के लिए बुला लिया है। गुरुवार 2 नवंबर सुबह 11 बजे अरविंद केजरीवाल को पूछताछ के लिए ईडी ने अपने दफ्तर बुलाया है। यह पूछताछ दिल्ली की नई शराब नीति में भ्रष्टाचार के मामले में ही ईडी कर रही है और मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल को पहली बार इस पूछताछ में शामिल होने के लिए बुलाया है। आपको पता ही है कि सोमवार सुबह में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आम आदमी पार्टी के दूसरे सबसे बड़े नेता और दिल्ली के पूर्व डिप्टी सीएम मनीष सिसोदिया की जमानत याचिका रद्द कर दी थी, और सोमवार को रात होते होते यह भी खबर आ गई कि अब मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जो हैं उनको ईडी ने पूछताछ के लिए नोटिस भेज दिया है। और इसको आम आदमी पार्टी यह आरोप लगा रही है कि केंद्र सरकार किसी भी सूरत पर आम आदमी पार्टी को खत्म करना चाहती है और केंद्र सरकार की कोशिश है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल को गिरफ्तार किया जाए जिससे कि आम आदमी पार्टी खत्म की जा सके। देश में शायद पहली बार ही होगा कि एक सिटिंग सीएम को एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट ने पूछताछ के लिए बुला लिया हो। इससे पहले सीबीआई अलग अलग मामलों में हमने देखा है कि सिटिंग चीफ मिनिस्टर को पूछताछ के लिए बुलाती रही है। खुद अरविंद केजरीवाल को दिल्ली की नई शराब नीति में भ्रष्टाचार के मामले में 16 अप्रैल को सीबीआई ने पूछताछ के लिए बुलाया था। लेकिन जिस तरह से बीजेपी के नेता लगातार ये कह रहे हैं कि ये जो शराब नीति थी इसमें जो भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है ये इसमें और सारे कर्ता धर्ता जो हैं वो अरविंद केजरीवाल ही हैं, और इन सब के बाद में जो पहली गिरफ्तारियां हुई हैं अगला नंबर या आखिर में अरविंद केजरीवाल की ही गिरफ्तारी होनी है। तो उसके बाद से लगातार ये अटकलें तब भी लग रही थी 16 अप्रैल को जब मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल सीबीआई के दफ्तर गए थे, और जब तक वो आ नहीं गए पूछताछ के बाद से तब तक ये अटकलें लगती रही थी। और उसके बाद से अभी तक 16 अप्रैल को सीबीआई ने पूछताछ की थी, उसके बाद से अभी तक इस मामले में कम से कम मुख्यमंत्री के मोर्चे पर कोई खास एक्टिविटी नजर नहीं आई थी। ऐसा लग रहा था कि शायद सीबीआई को कुछ इसमें नहीं मिल रहा है या और कुछ डेवलपमेंट इस केस में नहीं हो रहा है। लेकिन एक तरफ मनीष सिसोदिया की जमानत याचिका दिन में रद्द हुई और अब शाम होते होते ईडी का नोटिस भी अब मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल को आ गया है। तो इस नोटिस के साथ और अब जब तक उनसे पूछताछ नहीं हो जाती और वो वापस नहीं आ जाते तब तक ये अटकलें अब जरूर चलती रहेंगी कि क्या अब अरविंद केजरीवाल भी गिरफ्तार होने वाले हैं। क्या ईडी एक सिटिंग चीफ मिनिस्टर को, आज तक देश के इतिहास में कभी नहीं हुआ कि एक सिटिंग चीफ मिनिस्टर को गिरफ्तार कर लिया जाए, क्या अब ऐसा होने वाला है? 2 नवंबर को इसी बात पर नजर रहेगी और उससे पहले लगातार इस पर चर्चा चलती रहेगी।
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's day 2 of his visit in Gujarat has begun. In fact, he began the day by paying floral tributes to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's statue in Kevadia in Gujarat. And then he participated in the Rashtriya Ekta Divas program. The special attractions included a daredevil show by all women CRPF bikers, a women pipe band of the BSF, a choreographed program by the Gujarat Women Police, and also a special NCC show.
Right, Parmeshwar, it is the 147th birth anniversary of the Iron Man. The Prime Minister there paying his tribute and participating in that event, but he'll also be flagging off the inaugural run of the Steam Heritage Special Train between Ekta Nagar and Ahmedabad on the occasion of the National Unity Day. This train is a tribute to the Iron Man of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
Well, in other news, the Kerala Chief Minister has dismissed any larger conspiracy in the serial blast case. In fact, he has said the attack at the Kerala Convention Centre was carried out by a disgruntled member of the Christian sect that organised the event.
Now, according to the police in Kochi, the arrest has been recorded as far as the accused is concerned in multiple blasts that happened at a convention centre. Dominic Martin, the lone prime accused, has been reportedly charged under UAPA, the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, the Explosive Substances Act, as well as the criminal conspiracy and attempt to murder, as well as murder. Those are the charges against him.
In his statement to the police, he set fire to the bomb by operating the IED, and the National Security Guards team has recovered the remains of the circuit that was actually used for this blast.
Now, Martin had in fact placed those explosives inside the hall with the aim of killing the participants of the witness convention. He spent 3,000 to make that bomb and learned how to make that electric detonator from YouTube videos. So, a 12-year-old girl, including 2 women, were killed. So, 3 people killed in those serial blasts.
As far as the probe is concerned and the specific details, Pratibha Raman reports.
Well, in fact, the last 24 hours has been extremely crucial for the police, especially with the turn of events where the prime accused and the lone accused, Dominic Martin, walked in surrendering himself to the police, claiming that he is the one who's responsible for the drastic attack, mainly because he does not really concur with the ideology of the Jehovah Witnesses group, and he has also claimed that he's been watching a lot of YouTube videos. What is interesting is that the last 5.5 years that he's been residing in the suburbs of Kochi, the last 2 years he went to the Gulf, especially during the COVID pandemic, and 2 months back he returned. During his stint at the Gulf, he worked as an electric foreman, which gave him some amount of knowledge in terms of how to put together an electric equipment such as an IED. And with additional information from YouTube videos is where he collected a few crackers and he put together an IED device with the help of an electric detonator. And he also has enough video evidences to corroborate his story as well as his statement. The police yesterday was busy exploring the blast site, examining all of the evidences, piecing it together with his statement, and soon after which we did hear from police sources that an arrest has been recorded and Dominic Martin is under police custody at this point in time. But what we really have to know is what kind of information has been gathered from Dominic Martin, whether this is definitely a case of disgruntlement against the religious sect or not. These are some of the things that still needs to be highlighted. But in the meantime, you can watch the ground report that we have been working on ever since we came to Kochi yesterday, especially with regards to the victims, the injured, as well as the politics that is playing around this particular blast case.
12-year-old Libina, who was admitted at Ernakulam Government Medical College in Kerala at 9:51 a.m. on Sunday, lost her life post-midnight. She'd suffered 95% burns and is the third casualty after the blast at the convention center, which hosted a prayer meet of the fringe Christian sect Jehovah's Witnesses. 50 others injured in the triple blast are being treated for burn wounds at the hospital.
Yesterday we had around about 35 people getting admitted with first degree, second degree burns. Most of them had burn marks in their foot and hands.
There were 3 blasts that took place one after the other at Kalamassery's Zamra International Convention Center. According to eyewitnesses, the first one took place at 9:38 a.m. right at the center of the hall when around 2,500 people had gathered and were intently praying with their eyes closed. The other 2 were less intense and took off at the doors.
About 9:40, there was a blast. And after that, all people, about 2,300, more than 2,300 people were there. I helped so many people to make.
Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan has declared that it was one man, Dominic Martin, a disgruntled member of the group who carried out the attack all by himself. Vijayan has threatened legal action after Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar had alleged that the state government was not taking stern action against communal elements.
If you continue to pander to those radical elements by allowing Hamas, if that organization's head is allowed to come to Kerala through video and address a group of people with his radical ideology, there is certainly something very wrong. Instead of helping the youth come into mainstream, you are instead throwing them again into the cesspool of radicalism by allowing them to engage with and allowing the Hamas to engage with these youth.
അന്വേഷണവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ മാർട്ടിൻ സമ്മതിച്ച കാര്യങ്ങളുണ്ട്, അതിപ്പോൾ പുറത്തു വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇതിൽ മറ്റെന്തെങ്കിലും മാനമുണ്ടോ എന്ന കാര്യവും സ്വാഭാവികമായും അന്വേഷണ ഏജൻസി പരിശോധിക്കും.
When an IED can find its way into the center, security lapses need to be looked into. When innocent lives are being played with, political bickering takes center stage. With camera person Kumar, Pratibha Raman in Kochi for NDTV.
Let's get you a check on the pollution levels in the national capital, and Delhi residents continue to breathe the poison as the city saw another spike when it came to the AQI levels. And what's causing that spike? Of course, the weather conditions coupled with the pollutants. So calm weather conditions and low temperatures are leading to such a spike that areas of Mundka, North Campus of Delhi University, Rohini and Wazirpur areas of the national capital have crossed the 400 mark, taking their pollution count into the severe category.
That's right. Meanwhile, Punjab reported over 1,000 farm fires in a single day, and this is actually the highest number of farm fires reported in a single day in Punjab this season.
When we talk about Mumbai, the pollution count there is in the moderate category, but do remember the Vilepale area of Mumbai touched the severe mark as well. That is crossing the 400 point back just 2 weeks ago on the 18th of this month. The situation there has, of course, improved since, but look at that haze of visuals coming from this morning of Mumbai. It is in the moderate category, but it is the construction activity which is adding to the chaos, and the anti-smog guns which were to be introduced by Mumbai. That's going to take some time. It's going to take 7 months before those anti-smog guns are introduced in the financial capital. And with that, we're slipping into a very short break.
Well, the stabbing of BRS MP Kota Prabhakar Reddy is now snowballing into a political controversy.
The BRS accusing the Congress of being behind the attack, and the Congress saying it's a false accusation based on fake evidence.
That's right. My colleague Uma Sudhir joins us for a quick update on this story. Uma, the BRS has now called for a statewide bandh post this stabbing.
No, there are reports of bandh call being given for Dubak, but this is a time of elections, and bandh call by a ruling party wouldn't really make sense, but it is playing out in other manners. politically. I am in fact outside the hospital here in Secunderabad where the MP has been admitted. As you know, at 1:10 yesterday in the afternoon when he was campaigning in Dubak constituency, that's when this person came forward and almost shook his hands. It looked as though he wanted to shake hands with the MP, who also is the BRS candidate from Dubak, and suddenly he took out a knife and stabbed him. What we are being told is that the gunman of the MP was very alert, the security person, and that's the reason why the wound was not as deep as it could have been, and it could have even been fatal, we are being told. But he was immediately shifted to the Gajwel hospital, after which he was brought here, where about 10 centimeters of the small intestine had to be removed because there was bowel perforation that was found in 4 places, is what the doctors have now released a report also, which is saying so. So Mr. Harish Rao, the Chief Minister, all of them came in here and visited him. The Chief Minister, in fact, in a public meeting said that if our political opponents think that they can physically eliminate us and indulge in this kind of violence, we could also repay in kind. So in a sense, very retaliatory. Mr. K.T. Ramarao, who is the working president of the party, he had tweeted out saying that the Congress is now desperate and therefore trying to eliminate physically its opponents. Of course, Mr. Revant Reddy has reacted to that because Mr. K.T. Ramarao had also endorsed, in a sense, a photograph that seemed to suggest that the assailant in this case was wearing a Congress kandua, but subsequently it has been proved in the public domain that that person is someone else, and the person who's been caught as the assailant, he was beaten up by all the BRS supporters around, but subsequently what the police has said is that he is identified as Gaddam Raju, and what we are being told is that he's some kind of a YouTube scribe. His motivation for attacking the MP, who is the BRS candidate, is not very clear, but some people saying that because he did not get a Dalit Bandhu scheme that has been announced by the Chief Minister for the SC community, 10 lakh rupees, that he had not got, and he was angry, and that's the reason he had stabbed. Of course, the BRS is attributing political motives to it, and Revant Reddy, who is the TPCC president, is saying that they don't need to indulge in this kind of tactics to defeat what he calls a dwarf like the Chief Minister. Obviously, the Chief Minister is seen as a very tall leader in Telangana, but certainly this is a very competitive election that you are looking at, and therefore things getting quite political even over this stabbing. Back to you.
Uma, as always, thank you so much for joining us with that update. Well, in other news, the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said a ceasefire in Israel's war against Hamas will not happen, as the UN warned not enough aid was coming in to meet unprecedented humanitarian needs.
Well, Netanyahu has said that a ceasefire will not happen, since that would amount to surrendering to Hamas. Calls for a ceasefire are calls for Israel to surrender to Hamas, to surrender to terrorism, and this will not happen. The United States does not believe a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is the right answer right now. That's what the White House has gone on to say.
Meanwhile, nearly 70% of those reported killed in Gaza are children and women. This is what a UN agency has confirmed. And the humanitarian crisis in Gaza continues to worsen as we speak, with insufficient water, insufficient food, less medicine and sparse fuel, aid agencies have confirmed.